Good day everyone, my name is Niniel Dumanhog, a secondary public school teacher from the Philippines. I am here to present my action research entitled Effectiveness of Contextualized Learning Activities in Teaching Force. Okay, as to rationale, contextualization is one of the trends in implementing change. It states that the curriculum shall be flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize, indigenize, and enhance the same based on their respective educational and social context, as stated in paragraph H of Section 5 of Republic Act 1033. It maximizes materials that are locally available and well organized in terms of the subject to make it relevant to the student's culture. Therefore, the development of locally produced teaching materials with contextualized activity is encouraged. Nevertheless, the relevance of education to the life experience of learners seems to be a problem. The National High School experienced difficulty in uplifting the performance of the students. Grade 8 science mean percentage mean revealed that students were not mastered the topic. Well, in fact, it garnered 65.83 mean and classified as nearing mastery in the level of mastery for school year 2016-2017. It means that the problem of the academic performance of the students in grade 8 science still exists and haven't solved. However, with the use of the developed intervention learning material, it can support students' struggle in the domain of learning that according to Situmurang 2014. Thus, this study is to help the students acquire the knowledge and concept of force in a simple way through contextualized learning activity. Also, this study seeks to address the need of the teachers who are teaching grade 8 science. Okay, as to the key literatures, with the use of contextualized learning materials, contextualization has been given emphasis in many studies being conducted and has been defined in many ways. As to the original concept, Mazzio et al. 2003 presented it as a variety of teaching strategy crafted to have smooth connection of learning the basic skills and content through focusing the teaching and learning process on concrete application in a specific context that catches the interest of the students. As to the effects of the contextualized learning materials, contextualization of a course's content and concepts can improve through motivation, learning, and persistence. The knowledge has been shown that instruction with a contextualized content can activate learners' prior knowledge and promote more effective problem solving. So as to the methodology, participants of this study are the grade 8 special education and special program for the arts sections of the National High School school year 2018-2019. As to the data gathering method, during the assessment, post-test assessment was given and data were gathered from the controlled group and experimental group. Comparison of obtained test results were determined the effectiveness of the developed contextualized learning activities. Results of pre-test and post-test of the learning groups were compared using appropriate statistical tools discussed in the succeeding section. So as to the research instruments and validation, to determine the level of the performance of the students' mean percentage scores was used. Then the mean percentage score is the quotient of the raw score and the total number of points times 100. To determine if there is a significant difference between the pre-test performance of the experimental group and the controlled group, t-test was used. Analysis of covariance or ANCOVA was used to examine if there is a significant difference between the post-test performances of the students exposed to each type of teaching strategies. Problem number 3 hypothesize that there is no significant difference between the performance of the students in control and experimental group in pre-test and post-test. Findings. As to the performance of the students in control and experimental group in pre-test. So table 1 presents the performance of the students in control and experimental group in pre-test. So as to the control group, the mean is 23.85, and then the quantitative for interpretation is 79.5. It means that developing in a descriptive rating. As to the experimental group, the mean is 24, the quantitative interpretation is 80, and then the descriptive rating is approaching proficiency or AP. Next is performance of the students in control and experimental group in post-test. So as to the control group, the mean now is 24.53, quantitative interpretation is 81.77, then the descriptive rating is now approaching proficiency. As to the experimental group, the mean is 27.26, then quantitative interpretation is 90.87, then the descriptive rating is now advanced. As to the post-test, next is significant difference between the performance of the students in control and experimental group in pre-test and post-test. So table 3, significant difference between the performance of the students in control and experimental group in pre-test and post-test. So pre-test versus post-test, the mean difference is 13.01, then the p-value is 0.025. So the decision is we have to reject the HO. So meaning to say there is a significant difference between the performance of the students in control and experimental group, since the p-value is less than 0.05. Okay, as to now the conclusion, the pre-test and post-test performance of students exposed to contextual and localized teaching activities is much higher than the group of students exposed to contextualized but non-localized teaching activity in teaching force of teaching. Conclusion, there is a significant difference between the pre-test and post-test performance of control group students and experimental group when they are combined according to different tasks. As to recommendations, it is recommended that the teacher should use localized examples, exercises, and illustrations in teaching force to improve the student performance in science. The curriculum developers can include the use of the indigenous data in teaching science as one of the leading teaching learning strategy. The exercises, illustrations, and examples of the instructional material that should be used by a teacher must be authentic and indigenous to be effective. Then these are some of the references on my study. Thank you for listening, and God bless everyone.